In my hometown, there's a new story emerging, and it's being led by a young urban farmer, Curtis Stone.
It's the online forums like Backyard Aquaponics and the US-based aquaponic gardening site.
If she can utilize this waste, she sees a big payoff not only for the environment, but also potential investors.
Governments and banks. They haven't had to do anything productive, they just create money.
With that, welcome to another show. Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
Hi, I'm Robert Nisbet.
It's so good to have you along because we're here to support the people who are out-of-the-box thinkers.
The ones that want to hear about a 100 mile per hour or 100 mile per gallon vehicle?
Yes, and a 200 mile per gallon vehicle, and a 300 mile per gallon vehicle, and a vehicle that runs on water.
Or air.
Or air. We've got the solutions. It's Radio Free Canada. Let's run a clip. You make up your own mind, because this is the cool portion of the show.
I'd like to welcome you all to South Traditional Territory. What we are doing is something that I believe we all should be doing. And then we all should take care of Mother Earth before we can assure a healthy community. And then if we do that, Mother Earth will be able to provide for us for our future generations.
Souk spent a lot of time preparing a collective vision, a picture in which everyone could see themselves. The community came up with a sort of umbrella project, if you like, of how does this community become sustainable? And we knew we wanted to be autonomous in power. We wanted to be self-sufficient in food. We wanted to be able to create training and economic prosperity, all the while integrating that into the culture and the values. So we started with the solar project, and that incorporates the photovoltaic, and the beauty of it is it just sits in the sun for the next 70, 100 years, creating electricity and creating money for the band. So all our bills are credits. Many of the houses have solar thermal panels on the roof, so this is to enable the community members to have highly reduced bills. Whenever we run these projects, we always incorporate training and opportunities for jobs. So if you count the solar hot water and the photovoltaics, Souk Nation is the most solar-intensive community in Canada. Not just First Nations, but any community in Canada.
The garden program came from a vision in 2009. We wanted to grow enough food to keep the community sustainable. We use all the food from the garden. We use all the food that our members hunt. And we use fish that our members catch. It's all sustainable through our membership.
Having food security means we don't have to go very far for our food. And that's the way our old people always told us. Your food's right here.
We need harmony. We need peace. We need respect. And with all that, that means looking after Mother Earth and our children.
That is an awesome way to start the show.
The most solar-intensive community in Canada.
And it's Souk, okay?
Yeah.
Now, come on, wrap your head around that for a second. You'd think that it would be one of our top-line communities that led the way.
No.
No, of course not. That would be solutions in action. That would be a responsible government.
Yeah, that would be. But, you know, we don't have a responsible government. We have a corrupt government.
Yeah, I know, avoiding accountants at all costs.
This is a young local fellow in Kelowna who's actually doing his own bit towards sustainability.
And local people doing stuff is what we're all about. So please pay attention and remember there are solutions out there. It's only major media and government not talking about it.
What's the story of your food? Tractors, chemical sprays, and acres of crops in faraway places? What if your food came from right under your feet, from edible landscapes and urban settings? What if one person could create that story?
But it's not about expanding an empire. It's not about getting rich. It's about providing a needed service and have the vision to see what that need is, and then to have the skills to and hard work to follow through to bring it to fruition. And I think that's that whole thing is transformative.
In my hometown, there's a new story emerging, and it's being led by a young urban farmer, Curtis Stone. He turns underutilized backyards into market gardens and feeds hundreds of people in the process.
I don't really see spin farming or urban farming as the be-end-all solution for agriculture, but I see it as a solution because the more farmers we have, the more diversified we are, the more resilient we are. Of course, one farmer can't feed 1 million people. That's not the point. 50 million farmers can feed the world.
And that is an awesome way to start the show.
Yeah, that's Curtis Stone, a local entrepreneur who is feeding people instead of sucking off the system.
Grow food, not lawns, is something that you see all over the internet. Spin farming, okay. Well, just really, what is spin farming?
Well, all it costs you is a little bit of land in your yard. A guy comes to your door and says, I will grow food and feed you, and the excess I will take and sell. And it won't cost you anything. I will come and work the land for you. And he does all this on a bicycle.
I know.
He hauls a rototiller around and everything.
It's awesome, and we need to have more people stepping up to bat and doing that because, we have 1,500 homeless. 1 in 5 children goes hungry in this country.
And that's just a crime for a civilized First Nation.
Yeah, quote, unquote, civilized First Nation. $34 billion to build warships. Nothing to feed the homeless, though.
No, because, they're just not necessary for society. They don't contribute anything.
Yeah, I know. They're not O'Leary's favorite people. But, okay, so it does start with some solutions. Municipal sustainability. We have a pamphlet that's going out to the general public here in the next couple of weeks, and that will describe what our plan is. And it starts here.
This is another technology for food sustainability.
A lot of folks ask about resources for beginning aquaponic gardeners, and I would say there's several very important resources that you should be taking advantage of. One is the online forums like Backyard Aquaponics and the US-based aquaponic gardening site. So if you're on these sites, you'll be seeing a lot of different topics, a lot of different experts chiming in on different issues. You have to be careful because not everyone is an expert and not everyone has a great answer, but by and large you'll be able to weed out the good answers from the bad. And it's free. Another really good resource is YouTube. So there's lots of videos out there on aquaponics, on how to do it, on how to be good at it. And channels like ours try to offer really high quality information on a regular basis, and we really love to answer your questions too. So if you have any questions about aquaponics, please let us know, and we'll make it the subject of one of our YouTube videos when we get the chance. So I would go online. There are some books out there too that are pretty decent, but by and large you can get all of the answers you need online. Alright, well, welcome to our video tour of our greenhouse. This behind us is the greenhouse. You can see the fish house here, and we've got our greenhouse kind of heading on an east to west.
So once again, we are not saying trust us. We don't mean commercials saying that. Go check it out.
Yeah, CHBC says they're the most trusted name in news, though.
Yeah, and CBC says we cover the whole story. Fractional reserve lending.
Yes.
Let's run a clip. Okay, come on. Banks make money up out of nowhere. CBC never talks about it.
And the solutions to our problems are young people with vision.
It isn't every day a 17-year-old has a revolutionary idea. But Azza Fayed is not your average high school student. She and her twin sister Hend have a passion for science and love sharing it with others. But it's Azza's new way to convert used plastic into energy that is turning heads. Her journey starts here, at this noisy workshop in Cairo's garbage city, where workers sort and shred industrial plastic before a machine melts, molds, and cuts it into pellets. It's these little pieces Fayed hopes to turn into fuel. But she couldn't do it alone.
It's not easy here in Egypt for a high school student to access a research institute. You should just at least be a master's student or PhD student to have this access.
The Egyptian Petroleum Research Institute decided to take a risk on a teenager with an idea. Egypt produces 1 million tons of plastic waste a year, according to Fayed. If she can utilize this waste, she sees a big payoff not only for the environment, but also potential investors.
That could actually give us a total amount of products, whether gaseous or liquid products. Their price could reach $163 million. So yeah, per year.
Compare that to the United States, which produces 31 times that amount of waste a year, and you can see how her idea can have a global impact. Fayed's work hasn't gone unnoticed. She's received a special prize from the European Contest for Young Scientists. But probably the biggest reward is her realization that a high school student can have an impact on the world. Ian Lee, CNN, Cairo.
Oh, man, and that's the way I like to start things off, okay?
There are solutions out there for our energy needs, our food needs.
And you know what? There's solutions we have right here in our hometown. There's solutions in your town. It's called the internet.
Yeah, there's a wealth of information out there. Maybe the news should catch on to that.
Okay, make sure you stay tuned. We got more shows coming up here. Personal Power is coming up. I'm Darren Howard.
I'm Robert Nisbet.
We're going to be back with more. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us.
Since 1971, when President Nixon took the United States off what was left of the gold standard, the world has operated under a system of money called fiat. The dollar, the pound, the euro are all government fiat currencies. Fiat is a Latin word meaning let it be so. It is the law that this government currency be money. Indeed, without that legal enforcement, and the fact that we must pay taxes in this money, that dollar bill or that computer digit that represents a dollar would be pretty much meaningless. Only the government has the power to issue fiat money, but banks can create it through lending. If somebody wants to borrow $10, a bank can create it from nowhere and lend it. It can then charge interest. Banks also create money by lending against an asset, such as a house. They're given the deeds to the house, and they create the money out of nowhere and lend it, at interest, of course. But who benefits? Of course, those that have the power to issue money, governments and banks. They haven't had to do anything productive, they just create money. However money is created, be it through lending, fractional reserve banking, financial bailouts, or old-fashioned money printing, banks are always at or near the top of the money-issuing pyramid. In reality, this process of creating money only redistributes wealth from the bottom to the top of the pyramid, and thus that ever-increasing gulf between rich and poor gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Canada used to have what is called a social safety net. That net used to consist of welfare and UI checks, and it ensured that people would not have to steal to live. But now there are no effective social safety nets left, except for the richest of the rich. How does it work? Well, it's pretty simple. Major corporations are awarded subsidies, tax breaks, and eased regulations, and you are not. Not convinced? Just remember that you pay 65% of your wages in taxes, and Canadian banks, corporations, pay no taxes at all. But things are changing. From Egypt to Toronto, from Victoria to Halifax, people are winning battles by standing up for what is right. People like me and you. On January 28th, we are asking you to go to your city hall at 12 noon all across the country. Spread this video around and stand up against corporate welfare and get our safe streets back in an effective way.